Hello, beautiful beings.
My name is Luna, and this is
Rachel, and we'd like to welcome you to the Conscious Soul Podcast,
The Conscious Soul,
where you can get your dose of laughs, wisdom, healing,
aliens, witchy shit, and all things related to the unfolding of the conscious soul. Hello, lovely, beautiful beings. My name is Luna, and I'm here with
Rachel. Hi, guys.
And welcome to the Conscious Soul Podcast. We're back again.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome. This episode may reach you a little later in the day than usual. We had a busy, interesting week. Well, interesting in way of energy. So the full moon just passed. The full moon was on Sunday, and we had a full moon ceremony. We usually have a full moon and a new moon ceremony, so 2 ceremonies a month. However, we're going to be starting to cut down to just 1 a month because we're working on other cool, interesting projects for you guys. But anyway, the full moon is in Libra. So we're still probably feeling the energy of it. It lasts for about 3 days before the full moon, and 3 days after you'll feel the energy the strongest. But this energy, Libra, is about love and relationships, also about finances and money, and you taking a look at it, because the full moon is a culmination. It's like, think about the full moon like the light, the flashlight that's shining the light on all of the shadow aspects that you have under the rug or in the corner that you don't look at.
That dust.
Yeah, it's a little dusty over there. And so the full moon is showing you where you need to clean up, where you need to clean house. And it's up to us to observe and analyze and choose the highest, the outcome or the choice, the best thing to do for your highest self, your highest and greatest good, for your highest unfoldment, and release and forgive and let go. Full moons are perfect for letting go of bullshit, things that you're dragging, that dead body that you're dragging with you.
Those monkeys on your back.
That monkey, that elephant on your chest. Seriously. So getting real with yourself and seeing what relationships work for you, or how the dynamic is between relationships. Like, I don't want to say the word boundaries because we don't want to create separation. That's not what the show is about, for sure. But I would say knowing where you begin and where someone begins, and where you end and where someone ends, and where that meets, and what you're willing to accept and as part of your reality, because you're the creator of your reality. And if you want to be respected in relationships, then you're going to show up being a respectful person, right? You're going to respect others. And so you create that, you work on that, and watering that garden of yours, and having integrity, and being integrity, to me, the way integrity was explained to me when I was a child and I really understood it, was that salt has integrity. Because if you put salt on something, that thing turns salty. Salt is salt wherever it goes. And so that is having integrity. So I was like, damn, okay, then I really understood what integrity was. And so definitely, if you have integrity in who you are, you know who you are, you stand for yourself, you're going to attract the tribe that is going to fit your vibration, is going to nurture you and help you grow and expand. And if if a relationship is outdated and it's not working out and it's time to let go, then you have to make that choice for yourself, and have the integrity to be, this is what I stand for. Talk to that person. Maybe that person will meet you halfway, but maybe they won't. So you have to be okay with whatever the outcome is going to be.
Absolutely.
And so that's releasing here in the full moon. But we've been feeling a lot of emotions. I've been up and down. I also got my period, and I had this really bad pain, and just really tired. I've just been sleeping so much. And a lot of the time we do our work in our sleep. We do it in the astral realms. The astral realms is that's basically the space that we go to when we're dreaming. And in this space, you can create healing, you can talk to your ancestors, you can just have a bunch of dreams and visions and things like that. Dreams during full moons are can be intense. So I've also been having some dreams, but I keep forgetting. And so I'm going to start my practice of keeping a journal, which is I'll dedicate it only for dreams, and I'll keep it next to my bed, and I'll write down before I go to bed. Tonight I intend on remembering my dreams. And then I'll keep it next to my bed, and if I wake up during the night, I'll grab my journal and write down whatever I remember at that time, even if it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever time it is. And when you keep doing that, then you'll start to remember your dreams. And so I'm going to start doing that because I want to remember, because I know I've been having dreams. I remember parts of them. And yeah, just being really tired and healing probably my body. My body's been doing a lot of integration. When you take in a lot of light, your body has to integrate this light that you've received. And so it rids of all of old things that don't serve. It brings them up to the surface for you to heal them. And it can also cause integration symptoms in the body, like you can have pains and aches. You can be really tired and exhausted and sleepy. You can have headaches. You can have tingling sensations. You can, like, I see like little fairy lights, just different, just whatever you can imagine. There's different symptoms. So that's something to look out for. Definitely. But anyway, share with us what you have been going through with the full moon.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
You're very welcome. I was just feeling as you were speaking, and yeah, thank you for as I call them, tangents. I go on speaking tangents quite often, and thank you for yours. And
thank you for listening.
Of course, absolutely.
To my Luna talk.
Yeah, thank you for attending my Luna talk. The end.
The end.
Yeah, I was feeling as you were talking, and a lot of deep feels, which is very healthy. And for me, I just want to encourage everyone to feel your feelings, to either begin no longer or continue to shy away from them and reject them and act as if they're not there. And, you know, this morning I woke with sadness because I had sadness last night. And I want to say in this moment that I didn't, until the past few years of my life, I didn't know that I could experience moments of sadness or, excuse me, moments of grief or moments of heartache or pain, and also choose happiness and choose to know that peace is present and to know that joy is always present and to know that these things are always present, even when we feel sadness or grief or loneliness or, you know, all of these things that we experience as a human being. And, you know, coming from someone who is a vivid dreamer and a deep thinker and a deep feeler, I would say the past month for me has been interesting. 2 weeks prior to the retreat, and this is 2 weeks after the retreat, and this full moon in Libra, you know, like you mentioned, speaks about relationships and love, and my relationship with my father and his spirit has been changing, and I'm thankful for that. Very thankful for that. And you know, wherever you are in your process with a loved one who is either here in the physical realm or no longer here in the physical realm, continue to honor that person by communicating with them, whether they're here or not here, because even if they're physically here in this realm, you might not have a relationship with them. Maybe you're not in communication with them. But still hold, however, I still hold that vibration of communicating, maybe writing them a letter or just talking out loud as if you were talking to them. It really does help. And, you honor that relationship. Um, so with that being said, yeah, I've been feeling a lot and I've been thankful to feel. This morning I woke, I watched a movie last night. The, I believe it's called The Power of Your Heart. It's on Gaia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
And
power of the heart.
The Power of the Heart. And it really touched me. It really touched me in many, many ways. It spoke to my soul, and it spoke to my soul so much that I want to completely change and revamp my teaching process. My teaching
It's
process,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm very, 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 very calm and peaceful after crying this morning and after after giving myself the space and honor to feel all that I needed and wanted to feel, and not inserting any type of judgment or opinion, and being able to talk through my emotions, even if I didn't really understand them or couldn't put a pinpoint on them. And doing so in such a beautiful, honoring, healthy, loving, joyful way, and honoring my tears. And so, yeah, thank you
That's
for
beautiful.
allowing me to share.
Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's it can the full moon can really bring up a lot of emotions, and because the moon is it symbolizes emotions because it moves the tides, right? And that's water. So the water element is all about emotions and the depth of your soul and fluidity and all that. And so, yeah, the full moon can definitely bring up emotions from the past. And I'm glad that you are talking it out, because sometimes we want to talk it out in our heads, right? But that just makes it worse. Like we just
Yeah,
go off the fucking wall after sometimes.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
If you're not connected to your higher self when you're
Correct.
speaking to yourself.
That's the part.
That part.
That may I interject?
Go ahead.
That's the part, is the disconnect, because this morning, you know, I was I was feeling disconnected from spirit. I was feeling disconnected from source, from my heart, because I was sad and I wasn't fully giving myself that space to process it and to feel it. Not process it, to feel it. And it was an old script for me. It was an old, um, outdated software.
It's that dial up.
Yes.
It was that dial up.
Oh my God. And you know what I just envisioned? You're freaking hilarious. You know what I just envisioned? You remember AOL Instant Messenger?
Yeah.
And the little man?
It's just
Holy
like
moly. Y'all remember that? Dial up.
yes.
Sheesh.
Oh man, some of you guys may not be old enough to remember dial up, but
Oh
you
my
can Google
God.
it.
Whoever listens to this, please comment on the dial-up part. That shit is hilarious. At
Please.
first, I thought you said doll-up, and I'm like, what?
Dial up the
Dial-up?
daisy.
Dial-up.
Dial up.
Oh my goodness.
Dial up.
Okay, so yeah, so let me just, that was good. I needed that laugh. it's funny. Energy is, I just started to cry and then I just started to laugh, and energy is beautiful. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we are. We are creation.
It's fluid.
And yeah, allowing ourselves to be fluid. But I wanna just touch base on the disconnect part, because that's how, you know, that's how the smallest things happen, and that's how the biggest things happen, in the way of being disconnected. The big scale, the big scheme is look at the collective consciousness and how we're disconnected from humanity, and as a whole. And then look at the small version, which is the I, the micro, the collective consciousness, the macro. And so the micro, speaking about the disconnect that I have with my heart, the disconnect that I have with my emotions, the disconnect that I have with,
So.
source, spirit, this life force energy that's in my very being, that is my very being, that is my very existence. And so that disconnect causes, suffering. And our suffering it's all internal. It's
Mm-hmm.
all internal.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that has manifested in the physical body temple is due to the internal.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that has manifested in the way of our finances or our relationships or physical trauma, sexual trauma, emotional trauma, all of these things are a manifestation. Now, also want to add that when we're children, that's something different. We hurt people. And
Mm-hmm.
so, people that have not addressed their heartache and their pain and their trauma, and there's this continued disconnect, will inflict that pain and suffering on another person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not referring to that, but I did want to address that. And so this disconnect, it has to be done at the singular, smallest cellular level, because if it's not, then everything you do is going to have a disconnect. And so this morning, when I felt what I was feeling, I felt paralyzed a bit in my communication, and also like physically. And so I just sat and I just observed that. And I recognized that that was a trauma response, and that I'm not currently in trauma, and that it's important to be aware of that. And when you are disconnected, you're unable to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the connection that one must have to self, and from self, I mean source,
Mm-hmm.
the highest, greatest vision and version of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
not based on a situation or a circumstance or an event or an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's who you are at your core level, integrity,
Mm-hmm.
which is love.
That part.
Everything that we do must come from a place of love. If it doesn't, we're disconnected.
Aho. Aho, sister. That part. Yeah. If you're not connected to your higher self, then you are not connected to love. Your love is all there is. This morning I was sitting, in meditation, and I was speaking to my higher self, and my higher self said, or God said, or whoever you want to call it, whatever you want to name the power that is the essence of life, said love is all there is. That's all there is. Just love. Love is all there is, because love is the highest and greatest frequency that there is, and everything is frequency, everything is energy. And everything, you have to lead your life with love and intention. Have an intention for the things that you do, and stand up for yourself, and speak your truth. Voice your opinion. Your thoughts are valid, and as long as you're coming from a place of love, then it should be received the way that it's meant to be received, the way that spirit wants it to be received at that current moment in time. And this goes on to speak about relationships, how we work with other people, how we do work with our relationships, because this energy of the full moon is asking us to focus on our relationships, right? And so let's touch base on that. Let's talk a little bit about that. What do you think?
um, my brain wants to go back to what you said about opinion.
Oh, go ahead. Go on opinion.
Everyone has an opinion. And, you know, you said something about, speak your truth and share your opinion. You know, yes, do that. However, because a lot of people are not going to give two shits about your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So what's prevalent, what's most important is to just operate from a heart space. People are not going to like some of the things that you do and say. And frankly, it doesn't matter. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you operate from that heart space, everything is different.
Yeah.
Everything is different.
That's why I said it, if it comes from a place of love.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that was just my brain that heard the word opinion, and I wanted to say something about it because for anyone listening, the one thing, well, not, I mean, one of the many things that Luna and I love about our friendship is that we're able to, have these open forums, because we all communicate differently, and, we are here to learn from one another. So that's my spiel.
Thank you. So what can you say about relationships? What do you think is the most important thing? Well, let's talk about, because the full moon is asking us to see what works and what doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't want to cut people off, like saying, "Oh, this person is not good for me." You're just like cut off. Some people do need to be cut off. Don't get me wrong, okay? But cutting off, is that just creating more separation? Are you just ignoring the problem? Then are you just, I'm not going to look at it, but I'm going to put it away?
There's levels to it. I mean, if it's becoming detrimental to your health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, then yes, there has to be some form of space, but space doesn't have to be separation. You can still hold the vibration of love and prayer and highest knowing for that individual and not see them every day or talk to them every day, or maybe you don't have them over as much, or maybe you have some space from them.
Yeah, definitely.
We are all one and we are all unified in this presence. However, hurt people do hurt people. And I or you or no one is anybody's punching bag, and we always must leave room for people to grow and change and expand, because we don't know the next moment, the next breath of their unfolding. However, you do have to be aware and pay attention to where people are in their life.
Exactly.
And what their energetic vibration is. Are they coming from a place of love? Are they living their life with intention and honor and dignity? Or are they doing everything? Is everything that they're doing and the way that they're living, is it based in the ego? I, me, look at me, look at me. If that's the case, then their vibration is going to be very, very different. And frankly, your life will take you in a different direction. You're not even going to have to cut the person off. It's funny. And I feel like now I'm on a tangent, but I want to say one thing, and then I want to hear what you have to say, is that yesterday I thought about a few people who were very present in my life last year and now are ghosts in the wind. And that I am more than okay with that. There are moments where I miss their presence. However, I am very thankful for the time and the space that we shared, the experiences and the memories that we had. And that was that season of my life. And I'm in such a different space that, spirit is going to do what spirit does. And if those individuals are meant to be in my life, or if I'm meant to be in their life, then that will absolutely happen. And I will love that and honor that just the same as I love and honor this space where we're not in each other's lives. And being, you had spoken about it earlier, being okay either way. Full fucking surrender. Because I genuinely love every single being. Even if I don't like the things that they do, or people have committed these heinous acts and hurt people. I mean, we watched that movie that I watched last night was about this woman who was who survived the Rwanda genocide, you know, and she spent 3 months in a bathroom with 7 other women,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they made it through that. And she spoke about how her anger took over her entire body, and her entire body felt this physical ailment, and her body ached and her head ached. And she spoke about going through that, you know, brought her to the depths of her soul and made her love even more, because she didn't want to feel that in her body. And so she said, the highest form is love. The highest form is love. I surrender to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so relationships are we have a relationship with everyone in every way, and the best relationship and the most important relationship is the one that you're going to have with yourself. If you have a healthy, loving, nurturing, caring, trusting relationship with yourself, you're going to have that with the world. That will be your world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about relationships?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I agree. I mean, everything you said is on point. Relationships. The relationships, you can have relationships with people, places, and things. You know, it doesn't always have to be a person. You can have relationships with, you know, energies, things that you entertain, things that you interact with, things that you feed, things that you learn from or don't learn from, you know, things that you ignore. And so these relationships, they have to be nurtured and transmuted if they are at a low vibration, you know. Uh, I do connect with what you said about you were thinking about people that were in your life before and all that, because I've thought about that before too, because I feel like now I'm in a place in my life where I'm like a totally new person. Like this is a totally new life that I'm living. I've never I've known this person my whole life, but I hadn't met her before. You know, like I just had glimpses of her. And now I'm here, I'm her. And I'm like, damn, this is totally new for me. Everything is new. Even the people that I have in my life, everything, you know, down to the way that I look. And those people, they served their purpose when they were in my life, you know. People, relationships that you go through, they're here to teach you things. They're here to evolve you, to grow you, to nurture you. And it's up to us to choose the relationships that are going to be the best for our unfoldment. That are not going to hold us back, that are not going to make us suffer, that are not going to put us in pain. You know, even though the relationships that we do have that cause us pain, they serve their purpose too. And you know, sometimes you're like, I know this is not right for me, but I can't move, I have to stay in this relationship. It's because you're still learning, you still have learning to do, and that's just the normal process of life.
Sure.
And change is constant. Change is the only thing that is really constant, that is always happening, that everything is always changing, down to our physical body. Literally, our body regenerates cells every day, and we are new people every single day, you know, down to the seasons. They change. You see how the plants, they die and then they grow and then they bloom, and then it's, you know, they have fruits for us, and we nurture the soil so that this process can unfold in a beautiful way, so that your crops do grow with the changes, you know,
With the seasons.
with the seasons, with the adjustments, with the lessons, with the blessings. With the lessons, with the blessings,
The
okay?
lessons with the
And
blessings.
so since everything is changing, relationships also change. Now, relationships, they can change, as one person can change and the other person doesn't change, or both people may have evolved, consciously to some level, that when you do talk to that person again, if you haven't closed that door because you didn't burn that bridge down, because you're like, oh, you know what, maybe you're not part of my life at this season, maybe I'm not hanging out with you every weekend, but the bridge is still there. I didn't burn that bridge down because you did serve your purpose. And who knows, maybe when I talk to you 5 years from now, maybe you're on the same maybe you're sorry, excuse me, brain fart. Maybe you are in the same place that I am now. Maybe you've already elevated your consciousness to the same goals that I have. Maybe we connect now. Maybe we're on the same page. Maybe you'll be able to make amends. Maybe people will be like, yeah, you know what, all is said and done. I've seen people not talk for years, and then they talk to each other after so many years, and then they're like, whoa, it's like no time has passed, like we just got along, and we didn't even have to say sorry to each other, all was forgiven, and we were able to mend that relationship. My mom mended that relationship with my aunt that she didn't talk to for many, many years, because something that happened, that she mistreated my mom when she was hurt, when she was weak. And so my mom had that resentment towards her. But after years, and I was like, she was still in the family. My uncle was not divorcing her. Like, she is a permanent staple in my family. And she was like, yeah, I just forgave her. Forgiveness comes from your part. It's in your heart. It happens within you. You don't need the other person to agree with you, or to even accept your apology. You, or for you to have an apology from them. You don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that
It
at
sets you
all.
free.
It sets you free. Forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
will truly open up your heart space, and because everything flows from the heart space. All is love. Everything is love. All flows from the heart space. The heart has more neural pathways, more transmitters than the brain. It's very powerful, very, very
The most
powerful. It's
powerful.
the most powerful gateway.
Yesterday when I was watching that movie, the scientist spoke about that from the moment that you come in, that you come into this world, your heart is the one thing that,
Constantly working.
yes, it's the first thing that
Mm-hmm.
works. It's the first thing that gives you, I mean, I don't want to say life, but it
Breathes you
it
into life.
yes, it's just fascinating, the
Yeah, it's
the heart,
amazing.
and the
Mm-hmm.
power.
And all is possible. It's like a
Oh.
portal. It's a fucking portal. If you
Mm-hmm.
anything that you want that you're not manifesting right now, that you're unhappy with, you can do it through the heart space, by healing the
Everything.
heart space
Everything.
and healing the relationships in your current life, because that the way that you see how your relationships happen is the relationships that you're going to bring forth. So
Mm-hmm.
if you say, oh, people always let me down, people are this, or people are that, they never follow through,
Then
they
that's what
always,
you're gonna
that's what
attract.
you're going to attract. Yes, exactly, that's exactly what it's going to be. Now, if you start changing those relationships and saying, you know what, you speak up and you say in a relationship, hey, you know what, that kind of hurt my feelings. I don't agree with that. I think maybe we can work something out. And if that person is open to being in your life and they love you, then you guys will find a middle ground. Maybe they'll be like, oh, hey, I didn't even mean it that way. Sorry, I didn't even realize. Because most of the time it's not personal. Most of the time we're personalizing it. And so when we speak about it and we let that be known, then the other person can say, hey, no, actually I didn't mean it that way, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys will communicate better. But sometimes the person will be like, oh, hell no, like, you ain't telling me shit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that person is not ready or prepared to hear the truth. They're hiding from it, they're running away from it, or they just don't want to deal with it because it hurts too much.
And keep in mind, again, if we're not operating from the heart space, we're going to be met with that type of response in every
Exactly.
relationship.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a friendship or a family member or even a coworker, you know?
Yeah, it has to come from a
It,
heart space always.
yes.
Everything is always connected back to the heart, everything. And so some relationships are going to only be a part of your life for, you know,
A
a
season.
season. Other ones will have multiple seasons, and others will never come back, and others will. You know,
Hmm.
it just it
and
changes.
and each of those relationships is just as important as the rest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we have people that are in our lives for a few months or a year, you know, or maybe we met them one
Lifetimes.
time. Maybe we met them one time and they've had such a impact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they said something to us, or they said that they saw something in us, or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, guys, is that, you know, you don't relationships are great, you know, and spirit created all of us, you know, to be here and to do life together. um However, the best and longest relationship that you will ever have is with yourself. And you know, there's just, at this point, it's a bit wild. It's too
It's
much.
a bit wild
It's
at
a
this
bit
point.
wild at this point. It's too much of the self loathing and the self-esteem, quote unquote, issues, or you know, the lack of this or the mentality of this. Like, we have to take accountability, you know, because we are truly infinite beings, and everything is love, and we come from love, and we were created in love, in any environment. Even if you were a product of a rape, you know, there's love was still present in some way. You know, love was still present. And and I just want to encourage you, you know, to not to avoid the darkness, because you have to experience it, but you don't have to suffer. You can feel it, you can acknowledge it, you can sit with it, but you don't have to suffer from it. You can know that love is always present, but you must surrender. You must surrender to it. Allow love to clean up those dusty parts of your life, to heal those parts of your heart, to heal that trauma or that sexual abuse, or the fact that you were a product of rape, or you know, that your father did this, or that your sibling did this. You know, you have to choose. You have to choose, and God gave us free will. Spirit gave us free will. Life creation gave us free will, and you have to choose love. You have to choose it, um, because otherwise you will suffer. You will suffer if you don't choose love. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, so I think that concludes our episode for today. I hope you guys got something out of it and that you learned many, many things. We love you so much. Remember to love yourself and be gentle on yourself. Bye bye.